All right, man, peace. So the woke super liberal sports anchor Jemele Hill recently was stopped at the airport and interviewed in regards to her upcoming reinstatement onto the ESPN Sports Center, the 6 o'clock Sports Center known as the Six. She's going to answer the interviewer's questions in regards to her having any regrets in regards to her statements towards Donald Trump or the position that she put her corporation in. And she answers very shrewdly. It's very obvious to me that she understands, as most liberal females do, and as I tell you brothers all the time, the liberal black female has three alters. That is feminist, racialist, and globalist. And she's not going to let the globalist or the racialist angle trump her true angle, that being feminist. The feminist angle is the most important angle to her because that's the angle that's going to make her feel empowered. And also, she's not going to bite the hand that feeds her, because if she cannot continue to bring in her revenue, she can no longer be an independent woman. Okay? So you're going to see Jemele Hill give off an energy that she's very placid and that she is that she accepts the punishment that was handed out to her by ESPN. But she's going to contradict herself over the course of this interview. But there's a reason why she's doing that. Because she's just going to sit back and she's going to check out her options. I'm sure that many options have been sent her way over the last 2 weeks, particularly pertaining to some of the things that I touched on in the last video that I did about Jemele Hill, about her possibly being a political pundit. So I'm sure that she has a lot of options open to her, but she's not going to bite the current hand that feeds her. But anyway, let's see what she has to say.
Good. I was worried I wasn't going to see you. So you've got so many supporters who are, concerned. But you've got supporters at ESPN. You've got Al Sharpton on. You've got your back. You've got professional athletes everywhere. So what do you have to say to your supporters?
Mostly what I have to say is this has been a reflective time for me. I'm very grateful for all the people who've shown support for me.
You haven't been reflecting on nothing. Only thing that you've been doing is taking in job offers. You haven't been reflecting on shit, Jemele Hill. Just stop. What is there to reflect on? You made statements advocating an ideology that you clearly are knee deep in, that being wokeism. As an agent for the Black Lives Matter movement, agent of chaos. There's nothing that you've been reflecting on other than what your options can be for the next time so that you can't be silenced. That's all that you've been doing. You've been taking in possible job offers. I'm sure that Al Sharpton, and I mentioned this before, people like Al Sharpton and Greg Mathis, they can hook her up with other positions at other networks. Believe me, she's not a victim. She's she's not being oppressed in any way.
It's very humbling, honestly. And so I'm thankful for them, but I'm happy to be back. So I'll be back Monday.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I'll be back Monday. It'll be great. And I'm just concentrating more on moving forward. So
people were worried you might be leaving ESPN. Is that
No.
you've worried?
Hell no, she's not leaving ESPN. Not now. She can't do it right now. She's not prepared. Okay? She did not really think that they were going to suspend her for addressing Donald Trump or addressing the topic of the NFL protests on Twitter or the other social media outlets. She did not believe that they were going to do that. That's why she persisted in her advocacy. So right now she knows, okay, this is the line that I cannot step over. Once again, behind the scenes, it's very clear that the big wigs at ESPN got a call from Donald Trump, and he let them know. And this is as I stated in the last video. We can do this the easy way, or we could do this the hard way. Donald Trump, this is a man who's talking about levying attacks on mainstream news outlets for what he deems to be erroneous reporting. You think that he's not paying attention to ESPN? This is what I tried to communicate to some of the pro-black dudes in the first two videos that I did pertaining to Jemele Hill and Donald Trump. And, a lot of times people don't get it right away. This is corporate warfare. This is not any of that emotional bullshit. Any of that kneel on one knee and beg the white man to love me bullshit that you guys love to do so much. This is real. Okay? So John Skipper had to speak to Jemele Hill in a certain type of way that she could understand. The next time, you're going to be suspended without pay. And that is a language that always resonates with the liberal woman because her money is extremely, extremely important to her. She needs that. Her job is the only real connection that she has to maturity and sanity. Because if these liberal women had to sit at home, they would lose their mind if they could not bring in some type of income that would allow them to do whatever they wanted to do.
It all out and
Look, me and ESPN are fine, and it's just like I know it's great conjecture to think about what might happen, but like we're fine. We're in a good place, and
She sounded like one of these women who's coming home from therapy, from couples therapy, and who understands that, right now, her husband is providing a lifestyle for her that she can't replace for now. Believe me, Jemele Hill has plans, okay? And she's biding her time. She's a liberal black female. She made certain statements that resonated with low-level thinkers, two-dimensional thinkers, but people who can afford her a certain position if she so wants it. There are many outlets for liberal females who want to speak inflammatory words against Donald Trump. The mass media is against him right now. She will not have a problem getting employed. Believe me. Right now, she's just not prepared for that, and she does not want to leave her partner, Michael Smith, in a lurch. Because if she just leaves, what's going to happen to him in that show? Okay, so I give her credit for her loyalty to him. I made a statement a long time ago that Michael Smith should not disavow her because they are a package deal. I could tell that their friendship or their relationship is relatively sincere. Okay, and that's basically that in regards to them too.
happy to be back at the network, and so yeah, like I don't have much to say beyond that.
well, so what about Twitter? You coming back to Twitter? We miss you.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah?
Coming back
Okay.
to Twitter. Look, I want people to understand this. Like, there was never any restrictions placed on me about
Oh, really?
Twitter.
Okay.
Never.
Please pay attention to what she just said. She said that there have never been any restrictions placed on her about Twitter. Okay? She just said that. Please keep that in mind.
So
Nothing in your contract forbidding
no,
you for...
nothing in this, and so I'll be back on Twitter and.
So there was nothing in your contract placed on you in regards to your statements on Twitter, but you were just suspended for what reason again?
I'll be my usual self.
But do you feel that you were treated fairly by the network?
So here's how this works: is that
Clearly the answer is no. Because if she felt like she was treated fairly, she would have just said yes. When people believe that the answer is no, but they don't want to say no, they say things like, well, here's the thing, or here's how this works, or, well, the thing is.
it doesn't really matter what I think. I think, you know.
Well, I agree with that. It doesn't really matter what you think. And if you had that attitude before you sent them tweets out, you wouldn't have got suspended. All right? The fact of the matter is that you do think that it matters what you think in regards to protests and boycotts and things of that nature, being an agent of chaos. It's just that you're not fully sponsored by a company or an organization that will subsidize your lust for chaos. Okay? You have limits. Money talks at all times.
Well, it matters to us.
No, it matters to people, but like here's the reality: it's like ESPN acted what they felt was right, and you know.
They acted in regards to what? You just said that there were no restrictions put on you in regards to Twitter. So what did they do that they felt was right? If there were no restrictions for your statements on social media, Jemele Hill.
I don't have any argument or quibble with that. I would tell people absolutely after my Donald Trump tweets, I deserve that suspension. I deserve.
You hear what she's saying now? She's saying that after her Donald Trump tweets, she deserved that suspension. But previously, she said that there were no restrictions placed on her in regards to what she said on Twitter. So which one is it, Jemele Hill? Help me out. This is why I don't trust these reporters, because they just say any damn thing. And then when they finally get held accountable for their words, then they show you what they really are, which is nothing but puppets. Okay?
Like, absolutely. Like, I violated the policy. I deserve that suspension.
Wait a minute. What policy are you talking about? You just said that there was no policy against you posting on Twitter, Jemele Hill. What help me out. You know? Talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old. I mean, damn.
You know, going forward, like, we'll be in a good, healthy place. It'll be fine. And
Yeah, so
I'm looking forward to it.
You've had some
Damn, sound like they put her ass under reprogramming. Sound like she's in a sunken place.
time to reflect on everything. Do you have any message for Mr. Trump?
I think he already knows how I feel about him.
Yeah.
Not that he's checking.
Yeah.
Right? Not that he cares.
Yeah, you see that? You see the power? You see how much a woman understands when a man doesn't give two shits about what she has to say? In other words, the only reason why Jemele Hill keeps speaking about Donald Trump is because there are other people who care about what she has to say. That shows you that she's not sincere in her sentiment. She's just doing it for attention. Okay? A woman will always make those type of statements. Well, I'm saying, but not that you care. You understand? That's the power that the man has in regards to what the woman says. All right? This is why I made the video that I made about Wyatt Earp and and what he used, the technique that he used when one of his brother's wives was addressing him. He didn't pay her any attention because the woman seeks attention. She gains validation through attention. It doesn't matter whether the attention is positive or negative. Okay? Jemele Hill understands that Donald Trump doesn't give two fucks about her opinion. The only reason why she keeps talking is because she knows that there's a lot of low-level woke dudes out there that will pay attention to her dumb ass.
As I said, like, the only thing I ever apologize for is, like, I put ESPN in a bad spot. I'll never take back what I said.
What bad spot did you put ESPN in, Jemele Hill? Now, when I told you brothers a long time ago that Donald Trump would attack them economically, you know, it was met with some incredulity by certain people. This is why I always tell brothers, man, everything is about the money. Everything is about economics. All right? America is a corporate entity. That's what it is. It was incorporated in 1871. Everything here is viewed as a corporation. All right? When your name is on that birth certificate, you're viewed as a corporation. When you're put to death, they dissolve the corporation. That's all that means. Okay? So when people get on TV talking all this emotional shit, they don't respect you. It's all about power. The reason why Jemele Hill is acting humbled is because the entity that has power over her right now, ESPN, let her know that, look, we're not going to tolerate this. It's not about emotion. Okay? The woman is not going to respect anything based off of emotion. She's only going to respect power. And this is why Jemele Hill is feigning humility right now. There's nothing humble about her. There's nothing humble about any liberal woman. They don't even understand that concept. All they understand is the power to make them be quiet, or you don't have the power to make them be quiet. That's all there is to it.
Wow, all right.
So I put him in a bad spot, and yeah, that's the truth of it. I regret the position I put them in. I regret a lot of the people I work with, the position we put our show in.
See that? She's talking about Michael Smith. That's one of the things that I give her credit for, and that's one of the main reasons why she's taking the approach that she's taking, because she knows that she cannot leave that man in the lurch. Okay? Because I guarantee you, if she would have left that show, the 6 will be canceled in a month. Because the viewers are fed up with both him and her. But at least if they're in a tandem, it makes it look like there's some continuity.
I'll never take back what I said. So you can take that to mean what it means. So.
Well, will you think twice about?
I don't think that Donald Trump or anybody who pays attention or has a brain gives a shit whether you take anything back or you don't take it back.
But, speaking your free mind again?
No, I mean, and look, I don't think ESPN has created that.
You see what the interviewer says, speaking your free mind. You see how much the liberal Caucasian is always trying to put a battery in the back of the liberal black woman to quote unquote speak her free mind.
Environment for me, like they haven't told me like, oh, suppress this or suppress that. It's obviously certain things we need to kind of connect on and make sure we're on the same page. But like, I don't feel like I'm suppressed.
No, you have to make sure that you're on their page. They don't. There's nothing to do with you guys being on the same page. You have to make sure that you're on their page. That's what they wanted to establish to you. All right. When they spoke to you, they made it very clear. Jemele Hill, we're getting certain tax breaks and tax cuts as ESPN. We have a business relationship with the NFL. You cannot get on your social media being a figure who publicly represents us as an anchor and make a lot of these statements that are going to affect our bottom line, our business bottom line. And beyond that, you're sowing dissension in our relationship with the IRS. Okay? President Trump just brought in a new Secretary of the Treasury named Steve Mnuchin, and he can make our life a living hell. Please understand that.
So I'm good, and I love ESPN as much as I ever did the day I walked in there. And yeah, I mean,
bullshit. You don't give two fucks about no damn ESPN. You just biding your time. All right, and I give you credit. That's a wise take. It wouldn't make any sense for her to walk up on the interview and say, you know what, I'm not happy with ESPN right now, but I got to keep making money. They're like, if you're wise, you don't say that. You put on a good face.
I'm okay. Like a lot of people have been like, oh, is she this? Is she that? Like, I feel good. So I feel good.
That's fantastic news. I think that's going to relieve.
Oh, I don't believe you. You need more people. All right. I think you feel like leaving that joint, but you don't want to leave Michael Smith in the lurch right now. But eventually you're just going to say, fuck it, I'm out. You want to make sure that Michael Smith is in a decent place, or at least he has time to ingest that you're leaving. But believe me, she's planning on leaving. Okay? It's just she's waiting for the right offer and the right time.
A lot of people's minds, because we've all been pretty worried about you.
I know a lot of people
Ain't nobody been worried about her tired ass. Please.
been worried, they've been concerned, and I understand that, and like literally I'm humbled by that, seriously, but like I'm okay, and there's nothing that hasn't happened.
That's my thing. The broad is fine. You act like she been in Alcatraz or something the last 2 weeks. She got suspended with pay, and the broad is making like $700K a year. Nobody worried about her.
That I feel like I can't recover from. And as far as my relationship with ESPN, I think we're good. Like,
you heard that? She said, I think we're good. She didn't say we good. She said, I think we're good. Basically, they letting her know, look, the third strike, you're fired. Okay? Third strike, you're fired. But she's a monster that ESPN created. Okay? When you give a dog too much leash, when it ends up biting somebody, when you walk in it, you got to blame yourself. You got to make sure that your dog is properly trained.
These things happen. Sometimes they color a little bit outside the lines, not quite like where they want you to be, and it's okay. Like we'll be.
You colored a little bit outside of the lines, but when you started the interview, you said that there was no provision on how you conducted yourself on Twitter, Jemele Hill. So how did you color too much outside the lines? Oh boy, these liberal black women and they bullshit. It's hilarious to me.
Good. I've been with them 11 years. We'll be fine.
Well, and it seems like the controversy hasn't stopped at all. I mean,
She said, I've been with them 11 years. We'll be fine. Well, that's your version. You go ahead and fuck up one more time, and we'll see what happens. But see, the reason why she's saying we'll be fine is because she knows her place now. She's not going to step out of bounds no more. All right? She's not going to step out of bounds no more. And if she does, that's a signal that she's about to leave. All right? The next time she steps out, it's going to be because she wants to get fired.
The taking of the knee seems to only be spreading. And somebody tonight, while singing the national anthem, took a knee, right?
Yeah, so here's what the people who keep clamoring for them to stand up, and even this applies to Jerry Jones, is like, what you're doing is that, like, you're openly challenging who they are as people. Like, the one thing...
Isn't that so funny? This is the second liberal black woman. The first one was Josina Anderson, who spoke about challenging black men and their manhood. You know, if they were so concerned with black men and their manhood, the both of them would be married. Clearly, you guys are not concerned with black men or their manhood. You're concerned with them pushing your pro-chaos agenda. All right. Now, look, let me say this quickly. I've stated in the past, right now, our people, they have the mentality of an adolescent. But an adolescent is in the process of becoming grown. The reason why our people are acting so rebellious right now is because this is building towards a great confrontation. And in the process of that confrontation, the people who are truly meant to be leaders are going to be revealed, and the ones who are not are going to be destroyed. But it has to be a great cataclysmic confrontation. And this is what this is building towards. This is why there's so much antipathy right now, and so much building resentment. And it's being manifested in a very immature way, but it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. It has to go through a lot. It has to go through the process. Our people are building towards seeking out their own mastery, but they have to go through this bullshit. They have to go through this bullshit ritual first, this bullshit process, where you have a lot of these lames trying to act like leaders and going through all these immature antics, like getting on one knee. But that's okay. That's part of the process. But it's just laughable to me when I see these liberal black women talking about people challenging other people as men and challenging their manhood and challenging who they are as people and all this dumb shit. According to your sensibilities, you're doing this to initiate a conversation with the people who do have an emotional affinity to the flag and the national anthem. That's your sentiment. You're saying that you want to protest because you want to have a conversation with them. They're not going to want to have a conversation with you based on your tactics. Bottom line, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, the pro-blacks who claim to hate white people so much, who co-sign getting on a knee, what your end game is, I don't know. Okay? I don't know what your end game is, because you got two different factions. You got the liberal blacks who say that they want to continue the protest because they believe that this is going to initiate a conversation, and then you have the quasi-militant pro-blacks who like the protest because for whatever reason they just like to see any type of manifestation of anti-white hegemony being shown or evoked by black people for whatever reason, which leads to nothing. But it is what it is. Most pro-black, especially most pro-black dudes, they're two-dimensional thinkers. They don't have no end game. So at the end of the day, none of this shit really is going to amount to anything, but it is part of the process of maturation for the so-called black man, so that the real leaders can be made manifest.
Always rejected about it is like it's like Jerry Jones felt like he needed to show this exaggerated show of force to his players who are already going to stand. And so I think now for a lot.
Well, isn't it obvious that the reason why Jerry Jones said what he said was because he was given a hardline ultimatum by Donald Trump? Everybody answers to somebody, Jemele Hill, right? Everybody answers to somebody. The same way that you said that you and ESPN are good. Why is that? Because they read you the Riot Act. So, why is Jerry Jones good with Donald Trump now? Because he got read the Riot Act, and now he has to say certain things out in public. And also, that's to appeal to his constituency. That's to appeal to the Dallas Cowboy fans, who comprise mostly people from middle America and down south region. Texas is a conservative state per se. These are the people that he has to worry about. He's a businessman. All right, this is what I mean when I talk about the liberal blacks. They think at such a low level. They think that everybody makes statements for emotional reasons because they do.
Players, it's not even about what you're kneeling for, what Colin Kaepernick was kneeling for. What it's about is the fact that they don't want to be told what to do. And I get that. Like, you can't.
Everybody gets told what to do, i.e. you. Okay? If you don't want to be told what to do, start your own business. Period. You don't want to be told what to do, start your own business. Jemele Hill, you just got told what to do. That's why you coming back through the airport looking like a puppy dog.
Just show them up that way. And so, for me, I think...
Yeah. A liberal black woman. You so worried about black men getting shown up. Yeah, okay. We know because liberal black women are so demure and open to the statements that black men make. You know, they listen and, you know, they're so attentive to the wants and the needs of the so-called black man. That's why you 45 years old, still talking about some damn personal trainer that ain't gonna marry you.
Their rights were extremely violated, and they were put in a bad spot. Like, they were put in a position where they were going against their communities, and that's not right.
They were going against their communities? How is that? Were they told that they were not allowed to go back to their neighborhoods and help their people? Or were they told to just stand for the national anthem? So question, when ESPN told you to stop making inflammatory political comments on Twitter or risk losing your job, did they disrespect you in some way? Because it doesn't seem like they did according to how you're speaking. Seemed like you got a good little correction, a good little tune-up.
Well, do you think that the issue has been clouded as to why people are kneeling?
Absolutely. Like, people don't remember the original reason why this started. And it started from a very basic reason. All those people who say that Colin Kaepernick has not explained, no, he explained multiple times what this was about. It was about...
Yeah, well, he explained multiple times and then he disappeared into thin air. All right, never to be seen fucking again. All right.
Criminal justice reform, police brutality, and it was about the fact that, like, you have marginalized people who feel marginalized, right?
Yeah, and it's still happening. I mean, there was
Absolutely.
just an incident.
Let me rewind it back just for a second.
Kaepernick was kneeling for. What it's about is the fact that they don't want to be told what to do. And I get that. Like, you can't just show them up that way. And so, for me, I think their rights were extremely violated, and they were put in a bad spot. Like, they were put in a position where they were going against their communities, and that's not right.
Why are you trying to assume that everybody in the so-called black community agrees with Colin Kaepernick's form of protest? It's totally counterproductive. It's never going to work.
Well, do you think that the issue has been clouded as to why people are kneeling?
Absolutely. Like, people don't remember the original reason why this started. And it started from a very basic reason. All those people who say that Colin Kaepernick has not explained, no, he explained multiple times what this...
Let me say this, and like I said before, when two people are arguing and neither party's listening to one another, you know why? It's because the arguments are not really based in wanting to come together. It's really just based in getting their way. When you were a child or you were in high school and you wrote an essay and you submitted it to the teacher would tell you sometimes there was no continuity here. You started out your opening paragraph. You laid out certain themes that you wanted to expound upon and later on in your essay, but you lost track. So I can't give you an A. I got to give you a C. Or I got to give you a D. Or, your conclusion is not consistent with what you laid out initially. It's the same thing with a protest. If you did not properly lay out what the process is going to be, here's what we want to get accomplished step by step by step. Of course, people are going to lose track of what you claim your overall goal is, especially if you disappear in the thin air and the only time that you're speaking is through Twitter with one sentence statements or just retweeting what somebody else wrote. So what type of leader are you? Alleged leader.
It was about criminal justice reform, police brutality, and it was about the fact that, like, you have marginalized people who feel marginalized, right?
Yeah, and it's still happening. I mean, there was just an incident this week, so
it's like...
Yeah, the reason why so-called black people feel marginalized is because they're looking for the acceptance of the Caucasian, as opposed to wanting to be their own entity, to be sovereign, to actually have an understanding of who they are. This is what, and look, man, this is always going to be my platform. The pro-blacks can get frustrated all they want. I see through people like Jemele Hill, okay? Jemele Hill don't give two fucks about the so-called black man. I promise you that. She's just talking. Deep down, she's pro-lesbian, pro-homosexual, pro-tranny, pro all that. Okay, like most liberal women. This is just the cause of the day. All right, that's all it is for her.
I think a lot of people have allowed the method of protest to become too big an issue about what it's actually about. The method of protest doesn't matter. We're a nation of dissenters. This is what we do. Like, this is...
No. The method of protest does matter because it's going to determine, it's based off of what you claim you want, is going to determine what type of protest you engage in. In the official story of the American Revolution, the Americans were not trying to have a communication with the British. Okay, they wanted to be their own sovereign entity, so they conducted themselves accordingly. When you want to engage in communication with somebody, you don't do things to purposefully offend them. Period. So when you're doing things to purposefully offend somebody, and yet you claim that you want to have a communication, it's like a little girl who wants to get an interaction with a little boy, and she does so by being nasty. That's not going to work. Okay, that is dysfunctional. The thought process of the black liberal is dysfunctional.
What we do.
Do you think any form of protest would be acceptable to the other side?
No, it never has been. So I did some research and looked back into how people felt about civil rights protests, which is what I think everybody agrees on now. And the majority of people were against it. And so
Everybody don't agree on that shit now. That's not true. And when you look at what has occurred through the so-called civil rights movement, don't get me wrong, certain good things occurred, but it was based in the tenets of socialism, everybody mixing. And the U.S. government really wanted that to happen, right? Once again, the Hegelian dialectic, as above, so below. They were assisting Martin Luther King. That's why they had the authorities helping when they were integrating the schools and things of that nature. They just knew that it was going to take a long time. It was going to be a process. Similar to what I was speaking about in the video that I did when they allowed the Saudi Arabian women to drive. That's going to take a very long process. But they're going to have to break down the male hegemony in Saudi Arabia piece by piece. But those men are going to die before they allow that to happen.
that tells me something about our collective consciousness. Like, we're not objective enough to understand what is the right way. There is no right way. The right way is to make you uncomfortable. That's the whole point. That's a protest. So,
well, you go ahead and make people uncomfortable, and then they're gonna make you uncomfortable. All right, and that can come in a myriad of ways. If the so-called civil rights movement was as successful as you try to act like it was, you wouldn't have to pull the same antics today. After a while, I'm sure. And the funny thing is, a person like a Jemele Hill, she'd be the first person to tell one of her homegirls if their boyfriend infracted on them in the slightest degree, "Oh, girl, you need to leave him." She wouldn't say, "Oh, you got to work it out," stick with him. She'd say, "Girl, you need to leave him." I promise you that.
I support the player's right to do that. I support anybody's right to do that. And I'll always stand there. Always.
All right. Well, and so what if they made it a rule for the NFL that they had to stand for him?
They won't. Because it's not in the CBA. It was always a matter of function, never a matter of what actually existed. And the thing is, the NFL didn't start making players come out for the national anthem until they were paid to do it.
Right. It was a
paid.
Of course it was, because once again, like I stated in a previous video, all the American flag and the national anthem are the official logo and theme song for the Corporation of America, which is the official title of America, is the Corporation of Homeland Security. That's all it is. That's why I get quizzical when these niggas, I'm not standing because of what it represents to our ancestors. Look, I'm not trying to be dismissive, but the vast majority of black people don't even know who the hell their ancestors were. Okay? And I'm not trying to be, demeaning or denigrating or dismissive to a lot of brothers out there, but a lot of them that want to get on that soapbox and give that little spiel, a lot of y'all don't even know where the hell you came from. Y'all talk all that Africa shit, and our people was, in slavery for 400 years. A lot of y'all don't know no type of real history. And I say that with all due love and respect.
propaganda to make the...
Because the military wanted to make sure that, understandably so, they wanted to make sure that people, that they could recruit in a certain way to do these things. Like, I hope people understand, like, this was never about actual patriotism.
Right, before...
Well, it also was a way for the NFL to build their brand by aligning themselves with the government and the military. Okay, they were trying to overcome baseball in the late 70s. Baseball was the king of all sports through the 70s, and the NFL was able to take it over by aligning themselves with the military and with patriotism, particularly through the Super Bowl and making the Super Bowl a big spectacle, making it a nighttime game. Also, the Pittsburgh Steelers in the late 70s, they did a lot to help, and the Dallas Cowboys, they did a lot to make the NFL the monster that it is in America. But yes, they aligned with the military because they wanted to create that aura of patriotism around it. It was a marketing scheme. But once again, it's all corporate.
A few years ago, the teams would stay in the locker room, right? Yeah.
They all stood in the locker room, and no one noticed. And frankly, given where things are right now, I think they probably need to revisit having teams just stay in the locker room. Mm-hmm. That way, no one is called out. That way, if you protest, if you don't protest, like, nothing is ever under scrutiny. Mm-hmm. So I kind of would like to see that happen. Right?
Look at that. She still can't help herself. Now, didn't ESPN just suspend you because you're making certain statements and making requests or suggestions upon what players should do in regards to the national anthem, things that are going to affect their bottom line? All right, this is what I say, that the liberal woman can't control himself. Okay, they cannot control themselves, and this passion, this is just the protest du jour. All right, it's just the protest of the day for Jemele Hill. That's all it is. Okay. Once her real hardcore belief systems are in female empowerment, female supremacy, and gay rights and things of that nature. I promise you that. But a lot of you brothers see that shit already. A lot of y'all was forced to see that when she stated that black men are the white people of black people. Okay, she let that slip. She threw that little line out there because she got so comfortable with the accolades that she was receiving. She wanted to see how you were going to react if she threw that little drop in there. Okay, that's all that was about. So that's why she retweeted that, because she said, you know what, let me throw this little line out because niggas is hitting me up, they give me all this credit, let me see how they gonna respond if I hit them with this. And of course, the black man showed some semblance of manhood and bucked up against her and told her about herself, which is good.
And so other important news, the World Series is getting closer. We're down to 3 teams. The Dodgers, you Dodgers fan or?
I'm not a Dodgers fan.
Yankees,
I actually think, like, I'm from Detroit, so weirdly, I mean, not weirdly enough, but like, I love Kirk Gibson, obviously, but like, the worst thing I can actually imagine is LA and New York. Like, oh, the 2 biggest cities duking it out. Oh yeah, right. That's so like uncomfortable. Like, like I.
You see how her insecurity and her inferiority complex comes out, even when she's talking about baseball. I never understand why people get caught up in that. Look, I'm from New York. New York is the biggest city, as far as in America, and just in regards to what it has to offer and different things and different aspects. But if you are so-called from America, who cares about shit like that? Like, who cares? But that is her showing her inferiority complex. Once again, the liberal woman speaks out to get attention. Okay? She's from Detroit, and she feels a certain type of way because she's from Detroit, but she's not from New York or LA. It makes her feel smaller. So now she has to overcompensate by trying to degrade these other 2 teams just because they represent cities that she wishes that she was from.
I hate that as a Midwesterner because then it'll become like a big city thing and whatever. But I am happy for a lot of people in LA, as much as I truly dislike the possibility of that series. I love to see the Astros make it, just to jumble things up a bit.
Now you see what she said there? She said that I would love to see the Astros make it just to jumble things up a bit. In other words, chaos. Hey, brothers, man, look, at the end of the day, people are who they are. All right. And it pervades every aspect of their life. She's promoting this protest thing because it's chaotic. She wants the Astros to make the World Series because it'll bring chaos. New York versus LA will be too much order. It will be too much boredom. That's some insight into why her relationships probably flame out and don't work, because she doesn't have the ability to make things work. As most liberal females don't. They look to promote chaos as opposed to order. All right. But anyway, she'll be back on the set in regards to, for now, until she oversteps her bounds yet again. And she will. She will. It's like a serial killer. A serial killer can't stop killing. A liberal black woman can't stop running her mouth. Liberal woman, period, cannot stop running their mouth. And she will do something to hurt herself again. But most likely she'll land safely, because there's going to be either there'll be a convention set up for her, or she'll be purposefully trying to get fired so that she can move on to some other field or some other outlet. But anyway, peace.